जी मार्क कर देना. Okay. 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 So, talking about my background, I did BSc Physics from an university in Bangalore. I graduated in 2016. So, from 2017, I've been preparing for this examination. I studied in various places. I was fortunate to, have supportive parents. So, they helped me go into coaching institutes as well. This was my sixth attempt, my fourth interview. So, overall, I've given 6 prelims. I've given 4 mains, 4 interviews, and luckily, I'm here. So that is the summary of it. If I want to expand, I can keep giving so many things, but I'm a little apprehensive because has anybody heard of the term hindsight bias? Hindsight bias. It basically means that when you see something after it has happened, it seems very obvious, right? These are the things I did, that's why I succeeded. These are the things I didn't do, that's why I failed. We try to think it in terms of very simplistic manner, our life. But I don't want to simplify my life, telling that these things I did, that's why I cleared. These things I didn't do, that's why I failed. I'll put it as subjectively as possible. So yeah, my first prelims I was not well prepared. I didn't have enough guidance. I mean, I did go to a coaching institute, but I thought, okay, class ku poi notes eduthu adha mattum padicha podungra mari I thought. So it was not enough for me. Second time I was 22 years, but still I went to interview. But I was a little anxious in the interview. I think I didn't talk properly. In the sense, I was very animated. I came across as an over-eager person. I didn't come across as a calm, well-reasoned, balanced person. I think so. So that time interview marks were a little less, and I missed out very closely. Third attempt in 2019, something interesting happened. I did clear the examination with an All India rank. But due to a technicality, for a bunch of us, the service allocation was put on hold. So what usually happens is the final result comes, right? Like it came 1 month back. The final results, the rank list PDF comes. So about 2 months after that, the service allocation PDF comes, telling that this rank, this person, this service. The person in front of me, their name was there. The person after me, their name was there. My name was not there. It was simply deleted. My rank, my name, my service was not at all there. It was a very confusing feeling. I didn't imagine in my wildest dreams that this could have happened. Like you can imagine it, right? After some 2 to 3 years of hard work, you'll be thinking you've finally cleared it. Your rank may not be satisfactory, but still you're a civil servant at the end of the day. You're a bureaucrat. It gives you a lot of life வேற லெவலுக்கு போயிரும்ல. So a lot of prestige, a lot of happiness, a lot of responsibility as well. I was in that state. Seeing that PDF, it completely turned my life topsy-turvy. I didn't know what was the reason. Then I had to file an RTI. It is a long case. I don't want to get into the technicalities of it. If somebody is interested, you can read up. The case is called Rohit Nathan versus Union of India. So the summary is that a bunch of us had to file a case in the court from Central Administrative Tribunal. We are running from pillar to post. So it was not at all happening. And just after this third attempt results came, within 2 weeks, the fourth attempt prelims was there for me. I was not at all mentally ready. But still, I thought, okay, let me just give it. Let's see what happens. But yeah, as I predicted, I didn't clear the prelims also. So it just shows that the examination process is very unpredictable, very uncertain. Nothing is for granted, right? Doesn't mean that just because you cleared the first time, next prelims you'll automatically clear. No, doesn't happen that way. Fourth attempt, I didn't even clear prelims. So again, 1 more year of tough testing, tough times mentally. Fifth attempt, prelims, mains, interview, cleared everything. Again got a rank. 2021. 2021, May 30, the results came. August 4, 2021, the service allocation PDF came. Guess what happened? All over again. My name was not there. So, I'm sorry, this is just a humorous touch. I'm telling in Tamil, you're not losing out on anything, right? So it was like that for me. I was not allowed to service again. So the same issue again happened, and again we had to, run from pillar to post. We approached the Tamil Nadu government. We met the then Chief Secretary, Mr. Dhirayanbu. We met the then Principal Secretary, Mr. Udaya Chandran. We made a GO. We requested the government, and they brought in a government order, trying to help sort out the issue. But still, it was not there. It is just pending at the court level. So how do you keep coming back from such setbacks? That was the biggest challenge for me. So again, I explored alternatives as well. And while all this is happening, in 2021, I took up, I did a course in the Takshashila institution. Many of you may be knowing, like when we read Hindu, some of the editorials, it will be from people who are in Takshashila institution. It's basically a think tank. So they have a good course on public policy, graduate certificate in public policy. So I thought, I'm anyways interested in this government sector. I'm anyways interested in public service. I want to know more about how the government works. Literally 1/6 of the world's population is in India, and it is run by a handful of people who are bringing about schemes, who are trying to, tackle all the socio-economic challenges in the country and trying to take it forward. So how is this magic happening behind the government? That was my thinking. So I tried to upskill myself in this related field. So I did that certificate course. Then, luckily for me, the then Tiruvallur collector, Mr. Albi John Verghese IAS, before Prabhu Shankar sir, he had a district development internship program. That was his own personal initiative. So I thought, why not take advantage of this? Let's apply and see. If we get selected, again, we'll get a good exposure in government departments. So luckily, I got selected there, and for a 6-month period, I was there. It gave me good exposure in various fields like fisheries field, education field. So what I understood was that where there is a will, there is a way. Of course, there will be challenges in the government sector. For example, we were, as interns, we were trying to pitch some innovative ideas to the departments at the district level. But there was so much inertia. They'll be thinking that these are young children reading for UPSC, they'll have theoretical ideas. How do we implement it? So that's their attitude. But still, we were able to convince them. For example, I'll tell you one interesting, which is close to my heart, and I did. My thought was that why is financial education not a very integral part of our schooling? நம்ம இந்த ஏஜுக்கு வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் we start YouTubing. Array, some money is coming in our hands. Maybe we are earning part time. How to invest it? How to save it? What is mutual fund? What is stock market? Can we do it? What is Demat account? We have no idea about it, right? We are taught so many things. I mean, we jokingly say algebra, trigonometry. We are learning all that. Financial education, it's not part of our life. So I pitched this idea to sir that sir, why not try this financial education as a pilot basis in few schools? So I got in touch with National Center for Financial Education, NCFE. It's an agency based out of Mumbai. The NCFE is run by the primary 4 financial regulators of our country. So RBI, SEBI, PFRDA, and one more important financial regulator, insurance. Exactly, IRDA. So these 4 regulators, they do have set up this agency. Interestingly, no one knows about it. When I talked to NCFE, they told that most of their clients, in fact, almost 100% of their clients are private schools. NCFE has resource persons. NCFE has textbooks. NCFE has standardized tests that will help children graduate or gain more awareness regarding financial education. This was a government body. On the other hand, there were government schools where children from very humble backgrounds come. But there is a huge silo, right? This knowledge is not going there. It is going to private schools. Of course, it's not an issue, but it should be going to the most deserving. That's what I was thinking. So when I went and talked with them, they were surprised. They were like, no government school, no government body ever reached out to us. So it was a very surprising thing for me. So, like I was saying, government is a huge machinery. One arm doesn't know what the other arm is doing. So I was trying to bridge this gap. And luckily, they were convinced by my idea and backed by the weight of the collector. 2 persons, they flew down from Mumbai just for this project. It was a manager level person and one more resource person. They flew down from Mumbai. We trained certain teachers in this financial education. So it was a TOT model, training of trainees, right? We trained the teachers and teachers went and taught the children. It was a pilot thing because our internship is only 6 months. We can't bring but still, it is a very slow, grudgingly slow process, right? Social science. And that's what we are trying to do. நம்ம எதுக்கு இந்த எக்ஸாம் எழுத போறோம்? ஒரு நல்லது பண்ணணும், ஒரு சோஷியல் சேஞ்ச் கொண்டு வரணுங்கிறதுக்காக தானே. So to realize the slowness of this process, to realize the challenges that we'll be facing prospectively when we enter government, it was very helpful for me. And it was a moderately successful project. I wouldn't say grand success, like I said, hindsight bias. No, you should avoid it. So few children, they were benefited from it. They got to know what mutual fund, what stock market is, what budgeting is, what investing is at a very young age. We targeted 7th to 8th standard children. So this is just to tell few incidents from my life. After that, again, I cleared the NABARD examination as well because you can't keep preparing for this examination while being dependent on parents, right? It's not fair to them. As a, coming from a lower middle class family, as a first generation graduate, you know the value of education, but you also know that it's unfair to put too much pressure on them. They were gracious enough. They didn't put outright pressure on me. I thought, why not take up a job? And NABARD, I took up because NABA RD, the RD part attracted me, rural development. So that again was close to my calling of public service. I thought, if not civil service, at least let me be associated with an organization that works in similar areas. So luckily for me, I got the most important development department in NABARD, just called Farm Sector Development Department. I got the opportunity to work with the tribal communities in Kerala. I worked in certain springshed projects as well, watershed projects. So these are theoretical terms that we hear in mains examination, right? GS2, GS3. But what is a springshed? What is a watershed? What actually it means to conserve water resources? What actually it means to undertake soil and water conservation measures that can bring impact on ground? So this is what I was doing 1 year in NABARD. And meanwhile, I thought, okay, if some energy is left in me, let me give it a go again. Of course, I'm kidding, but I was serious about it. But I did have this thought in the back of my mind that I'll not be attached to the results. That somehow through all this rigorous life journey, I inculcated this gyan. Dhoni says, trust the process. There is this story, right? There's a butterfly, and when we try to catch it, it keeps escaping our hands. It just keeps flying away. But when you keep calm and keep your focus on something else, it silently comes and sits on your shoulder. So something of a counterintuitive approach I was taking. Till now, it was all about positive visualization, attachment, goal, motivation, like that it was. Now I was a more calm, zen-like approach, telling that let's do the process, let's see what happens, let's control the controllables, that Dhoni terminology I started using, Nishkama Karma, Kadame Ise, Parane Edirparkade. These are things we read in ethics, in life generally, but why not apply it? So I literally went into that zone, and I didn't have a choice because I was having a full-time job. I was not as attached as I was earlier. I spent the least number of hours this attempt. I was least expecting this attempt. But it is not a casual approach. Of course, I was doing my work. But I think it gave a mental peace, which a lot of us miss out. Right? Why are we anxious throughout the preparation process? Because I think we have a little bit more than healthy attachment to the result. We are too worried about what will happen if this doesn't work out. There is no easy answer to the question, right? So that's where plan B comes in. Now, I was a person who thought we should not have a plan B. It should be a do or die approach. Because I thought if I have a plan B, I'll think anyways there is a plan B. Why to study? Anyway, plan B is there, like that. And for some people it works also. This is not a absolute truth, telling that everybody has to have plan B right from day one. But what I'm trying to tell is that as time progresses, if you are invested in UPSC process for quite some time, it's wise to take a cost benefit analysis at every point. What is the cost that you are giving to continue the process, and what is the benefit that it is giving for you? How is it weighing overall? Are the costs too much? Is it financial? Are you simply spending on this preparation process without being self-dependent? Is it mental? Is it social? Are you losing out on friendships? Are you losing out on other things which is useful for our age? I mean, I'm not telling, actively pursue that. I'm telling you should be in a mentally good place. No examination is bigger than a human being, right? I'm trying to push this message as much as possible, and it's one of the reasons why I came here, because right when sir reached out, as he honestly said, I had no association with KAMARAJ Academy. I just knew there was KAMARAJ Academy. And luckily, I knew Prabhu Shankar sir, that too after results only, because I come from Tiruvallur district. Sir is the collector right now. Fortunately, I had access to him, and I keep asking some doubts, sir, what happens after selection and all that. And sir was mentoring me nicely. So he told that, see, my mentor is in KAMARAJ Academy. There are aspirants there. Why don't you go? But I knew that there was no commercial objective here, and it was just pure good thoughts, right? Purely to get in touch with aspirants. So that's what I didn't want to miss the chance. So I was saying this cost benefit analysis will help you to choose whether you have to have a plan B or not. Everything is important because ultimately I was saying no examination is bigger than a human being. You have to be in a mentally good place. Never ever compromise on this. Never ever. Because I can tell you, just now I said, right, what I told is like 10% of what I've gone through. It's been, very, very rigorous process. It's a very unique kind of a journey for me. I keep joking to my friends. 12th fail pathate, they told me, I remembered you, got selected. And all. I told, brother, that climax is my interval. After that, there is an anti-climax for me. So it's funny. I mean, looking back at it, but yeah, it's very, very important. Everybody's journey is unique. If you, start getting into things that will affect this, it will be troubling. What are the things that will affect this comparison? Correct? We'll keep doing it. Social media is there. We'll compare with others. They are going to Goa. They are going to US and studying. They are going to clubs and pubs. They're going to movies. What am I doing? Perfectionism. What else? Poor stress management. I had a very simple mantra to motivate myself in this regard. I used to think, if today I cannot regulate myself at an individual level, tomorrow you will be becoming a civil servant. You will perhaps be regulating a district. You will perhaps be representing the whole country, the aspirations of 1.2 billion people in forums like UN, forums like WHO, whatever. If you should be at that level of mental capability, the least you should do is have your own mental health correct. No, if this is not right, nothing is going to be right. Right? So, as I keep giving the example of CSK, why are they such a good team? For those of you who follow IPL, of course, we had a bad night yesterday. Forget it. But why are they such a good team? Any guesses? Yeah, correct. Yeah, like I was saying, trust the process. And they put players in a mentally good space. Very, very important. They don't throw them out of the team if they don't perform for one match. They don't, keep changing their combination just for the sake of it. Because, like I said, mental game is everything. So if you're not, in a position to win the mental game, you won't be winning the UPSC game. So please understand that. Just wanted to emphasize on that. Yeah. Avoiding victim mindset. This is another important thing. That is the biggest learning for me. Given my story, it was very easy for me to go into this mindset, right? Just imagine, it could have gone either way. I would have cleared once. I would have blamed the UPSC system. I would have blamed DOPT. I would have blamed the whole government examination recruitment process, telling that it's unfair. Anything can happen. Nothing is fair. Nothing is for granted. Whoever came to me, I'll keep complaining. No, I cleared, but still it didn't happen. Blah 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 blah. But what will happen? They'll say, and they'll go back and sleep, right? You will come back and sleep. Next day you'll be in the same negative mode. You should take in charge of your destiny, right? Otherwise, there is no point in reading all this. There's no point of all this motivation, all this talk, all this glamour, if you don't put it into implementation. So this is my learning, but this victim mindset is common to everybody, right? We are from Tamil Nadu, we are from South India, we are studying in a small town. We don't have resources. Our financial background is not good. Don't keep giving reasons for you to not clear. The only thing between you and what you aim for is the story that you tell. Get your story correct. If you tell the story that there's financial pressure, I have cleared the exam twice, it didn't happen, why do I continue this? There are many other things in life. Of course, it's true to some extent, many things are in life is there. But if the story you tell is a very negative, a very external locus of control oriented. I mean, what do you mean by external locus of control? You put the blame on everything except you. These are just fancy terms. Basically, it means that you're not being responsible for how your life is going. Of course, there will be extraneous factors. I didn't perhaps foresee that this issue can happen to me. It was not under my control. Clearing the exams was under my control. I was happy that I did what I could to the best of my abilities. But what next? You can't keep putting the blame on external things, right? System is unfair. That is not good. This is not good. Take back control. For me, the biggest factor driving me was public service. It is different from civil service. According to me, this is, of course, my own opinion. This is a career that we all are aiming for, which is a very, very good career. Of course, I'm not downgrading it. It is a fantastic career and very fortunate to get into it. Public service is a mindset. It is an approach to life. இப்போ நான் சொல்றதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் ஓவரா தான் இருக்கும், but frankly, I am being honest. This is how I think. I am a little bit of, you know, unconventional thinker, but for me, the biggest driver to pursue this was this. What happens is when we do UPSC examination and pursue this, we forget this. If at all this is your driver. Of course, if you are in this for status, power, opportunities to earn under the table, that is a different game. I can't perhaps connect with you. But if this is your driving factor, like most of us, we forget this, right? In the preparation process. My question is why? Why are we forgetting it? 99.9% seem to forget it. I also did the mistake. For 1 to 2 years, I thought this is my life. Of course, it is very, very important. It will help you get this. But the truth of the matter is 99.99% don't get into the examination. And you keep thinking it is not possible to get into it. And even if you get into it, something happens and you come back in a few circumstances. But your ultimate value was this. This is what gave you happiness. Why forget this? Right? I'll tell you what I did. I involved myself in volunteerism. Now, this may help you in terms of exam preparation. You will come across social agencies. You will come across opportunities to help people. Like social agencies, pressure groups, it's a topic in GS3, right? You can quote them freely. You'll be a very different person. You'll be living your answer. I'm telling you, this is a very, very different approach to the examination. Nobody ever tries this. So volunteerism is a very, very good thing that you can do during the preparation process. Just have it at the back of your mind. It's not like 24 hours you'll be reading. Obviously, no. Perhaps 7 to 8 hours a day you'll be reading. If it's, classroom batch, it will be perhaps more. But definitely 1 to 2 hours a week you can spend to this, right? Spend for this. I volunteered with Chennai Volunteers. It's an NGO basically. During COVID, there was a scheme brought in by the Chennai Corporation that a lot of people were homebound, right? Due to the triaging system. Those who had severe symptoms, quarantined. So Chennai Corporation, what they did is they collaborated with these Chennai volunteers and they recruited volunteers to get in touch with the patients just to keep track of their health. So we had to call them, we'll be given some few numbers a day. We had to call them up at our own time. Sorry. And ask them, did you have your medicines properly? Are your symptoms continuing? And we'll be having a ready-made list of doctors who's in collaboration with Chennai Corporation. And if their symptoms get worse, we'll be referring them to the doctors. That's all it was. But I took so much joy in doing it because I was feeling myself that some way I was involved in the government sector. Some way I was doing something positive like that. I'm sure a lot of people would have got the feeling, perhaps in your college, you would have been involved in some volunteering, some community service that would have triggered your UPSC dream. So it's a good feeling. I'm just trying to tell that don't lose out on this value and such opportunities in the pursuit of this. That is the ultimate aim. But this value can be, imbibed by everybody. Why are there so many NGOs? Why are there so many social entrepreneurs? There is so many fellowships, Teach for Endeavor Fellowship. So many banks run a fellowship for 2 years. Everybody is trying to give you opportunities in this regard. So I'm just telling you, there are avenues, if this is your primary value, to be in touch with this. So just keep it at the back of your mind while preparing so that it helps you be in a mental space, good mental space, and also helps you in this process to give good answers. Perhaps an interview, you can impress them, right? And this is where the district internship also comes in. I pursued this to be in touch with this. I did the public policy course to be in touch with this. Now, this much of self-discovery I did throughout the journey process. One, because I had psychology optional. So, as you can see, I'm a natural thinker. I think a lot. So, it helped me a lot, right? I'll just cover a few more things. Yeah. Why is the mental game very important? You'd have heard so many stories, so many real life incidents, uh, so many stories, so many experiments, perhaps, that will illustrate that this is very important. In psychology, we read a lot of things. We read something called self-efficacy. See, self-efficacy basically means the subjective truth is more important than the objective truth. What do I mean? What you believe about yourself is more important than what you actually are. Does it make sense? Yes? Right? So, if you want to have a positive subjective self-belief, it will help you increase your self-efficacy. Meaning, you'll have more confidence on yourself and you'll perform better. Right? There was an interesting experiment done with basketballers. All equally competent players. They were divided into two groups. One group was the control group. For those of you who are aware of research types and science, you will know experiments how it's done. One group, the treatment is given. One group, there will be a control group. So whatever effect comes to the treatment group, you will attribute it to the experimentation that you did. So the control group, there was no visualization. But for the treatment group, the players were actively asked to visualize them throwing the ball through the hoop from various points at the court, right? Whichever point, whichever scenario whichever scenario comes in the match, like very difficult scenarios, when a person blocks, when you're very far away from the hoop, when you're in an awkward angle from the hoop, all such scenarios were told to them beforehand and they kept imagining it. So as you can guess by now, these visualizers perform better, right? That is pretty much obvious. But the truth behind this is what is pretty much shocking. They found that your mind cannot differentiate between objective and subjective reality. You come back to this. Why it is important. Your mind doesn't know that if you are visualizing, it is a subjective thing. It is not actually happening. It's just a visualization. But your mind doesn't know that. It actually starts believing that you are what you think. Right? Everything keeps connecting back. So what I'm trying to tell is, this is the foundation. Please keep it in mind. Next, one more thing I want to talk about is resilience. You will keep giving mock tests. The marks won't be as much as you expect. You will perhaps face personal difficulties. The last attempt, I had a big accident. You can perhaps see the scar in my hand right now. I was in Kerala. Of course, Kerala is infamous for its curvy roads. I went in bike. I got skidded. So my whole left part was, very bad actually. And I also got a surgery in my knee because there was a ligament tear. I used to play a lot. I'll come to the hobbies part later before I forget. So that happened during last attempt. My younger sister got married during the last attempt. So as a responsible Anna, you have to, contribute to that, and there won't be as much time for that. So there are a lot of things happening, but you have to keep coming back. There is an interesting quote in the book War Apart. It tells the difference between a professional and an amateur. An amateur works only when inspiration strikes. A professional knows to put in the hard work every day, regardless of how he or she feels. Only if you are a professional, you can win the War of Art. I mean, Art of War, sorry. The book's name is War of Art, but you can win the Art of War only if you are a professional. What happens in UPSC is that there are some 10 to 13 lakh people who apply, right, for prelims. Out of which around 10,000 clear mains. I mean, clear prelims and appear for mains. Around 2000 are selected for interview. Roughly 800 to 1000 are selected as final civil servants. Who are the people who are crossing through this? Of course, a little bit of luck is there. I won't deny it, because luck has not been on my side for a long time. That is different. But a common trait for the people who get through this process is this: they are pros. They are not amateurs. Who are amateurs? Coming to academy to have fun, friendships, distractions, study circle nu solliட்டு காமெடி பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறது. It's fine. I mean, it happens, right? You all come to classes, you will observe many kinds of people. You are taking up UPSC because you're facing pressure. You know, suddenly you had one realization, you studied for 1 month, then you left it. All this comes under amateurs. Pros are different. They are pros. Whatever happens, they'll keep coming back. So we should realize that only pros can withstand this process. And it's not a very big thing. I mean, again, those who clear, I'm not telling, are very, very, exceptional human beings. They were born to clear this examination. Not that kind of a thing. What helps you be resilient, what helps you be in a good mental health space, which I was talking about earlier, was this hobbies. Right? My hobbies were movies, big time. Endurance running and blogging. Now, it helps you in many ways. One, it puts you in a good mental health space. It can be anything for you: cooking, gardening, talking to your mom, just some time with your dog or cat. It can be anything. But if you go into that robotic mode of preparation, cutting off everything, uninstalling all the apps, getting a touch key phone, and going into very, very serious kind of preparation, no? Maybe it works for some people, but broadly, as a general principle, it doesn't work. Especially for me, it won't work. I was that much aware, because I was kind of a jack of all, master of none kind of a guy. I couldn't just study and study for 28 hours a day. It won't work for me. So I knew I had to keep them up. Of course, 2 months before prelims, 2 months before mains, I toned it down. But my point is that when you pursue your hobby, one, it puts you in a good mental health space. Two, it can be a symbiotic pursuit. What do you mean by a symbiotic pursuit? Your hobbies can in turn help your preparation process. How? I try to break the monotony of preparation by watching movies. Like, history is very boring for me. So for world history, I watch a lot of war movies, world history movies. For understanding social issues better, I watch social dramas a lot. A movie like Jai Bhim, it teaches you so many things. We don't realize it. Did you know that after Jai Bhim got released, the Tamil Nadu government took it up as a personal initiative, and it went to many districts and gave pattas to scheduled tribes people? It was just after Jai Bhim movie, right? And me being a cinephile, I observed this a lot. I noted this. In fact, I keep quoting this example in GS3, GS4. As a example of positive communication, using media as a agent of change. We don't realize it. So I'm telling that movies can help you. If you are a movie lover like me, it can help you a lot. Blogging helps you improve answer writing skills, like the way I see it. I'm not telling you all have to blog, but of course you all have to do answer writing practice. But I try to do it differently. I read about policy issues. I try to think differently, and if I feel very strongly, I blog about it. Like, for example, in 2021 Tamil Nadu elections, there was some advertisement campaign, right? I forgot the tagline of it. Tamudagam Pediya, something like that, whatever, I forgot. But I had the doubt that the government money is going for political campaigning, right? The ruling party is using government treasury funds for campaigning towards its political ends. So I started reading up about it. Are these two different? Can a government in power use funds for its own sake, without any limits, without any regulatory oversight? Then I came across, as usual, there will be some committee, Madhav Gupta committee or whatever. There will be reports, there will be recommendations, there will be international best practices. So I try to collect everything and put it as a blog. and I just put it out. Then I, in fact, got in touch with, think tanks like Center for Civil Society. They published in their blog. So it was a good thing, right? Like I was saying, keep this at the top. If you believe this is your primary driver, all these activities will validate your pursuit. Like when you publish it in a blog of a think tank, some expert is seeing that your thought process is correct, right? But tomorrow when you become a bureaucrat, you'll be confident, telling that even before you got selected, your thought process was right. Correct, no? So this symbiotic pursuit angle will help you in preparation. Hobbies are very, very important. Please don't forget it. Yeah, I'll just end this story part. We'll go to prelims part next with just one beautiful story. Whenever I keep hearing this word resilience, and I relate to this story a lot because it's somewhat similar to my life. There's, am I telling too much? Interesting? Boring? Oscar Figueroa, a weightlifter. Has anybody heard of the story before? I hope not, because I want to give full build up and tell. Oscar Figueroa, a weightlifter from Colombia, if I'm not wrong, or perhaps one of the South American countries. If I remember correctly, it was from Colombia. He appeared in Olympics. He was an Olympic level weightlifter. 2004, the Olympics was in Athens. Athens is in Greece. So he went there. He's a phenomenal weightlifter. At the national level, he had fantastic records. But he went there, he tried to lift the weight. Something was just not right. Perhaps it was an unlucky day for him. He just couldn't perform. For whatever reasons, he couldn't perform well. He came fifth. The medals were top 3, obviously. So he missed out on a medal, right? He was perhaps not as young in 2004 itself. So carrying on for 4 more years and appearing for next Olympics was a big thing. UPSC every வருஷம் வருது. இவங்கெல்லாம் யோசிச்சு பாருங்க. Every 4 years is their main test. 2008. I think it was Beijing. I don't remember properly. Beijing, no? So he came back. 4 years of preparation, 4 years of intense hard work just for that 5 minutes of performance. He came back. Guess what happened? Huh? Sorry? Yes, he did. Like I said, there are interesting ways of not getting your success, right? As you can know by now. He had sweaty hands that day. He tried to lift it, just kept slipping from his hands. Of course, they'll be, they would have taken enough precautions. They applied all the powder and all that. He kept trying to lift the thing, but he just couldn't lift it. He was not even in the top 10. Forget performance. He was out. He didn't even perform. Like I said, he didn't even lift, right? Just kept slipping from his hands. No show. 4 more years. Everybody started calling him mad, telling that, who are you? You think you can keep doing weightlifting all your life? Rigorous sports like weightlifting, it is age specific, right? You can't keep carrying on. He didn't mind. He just told, I'll try. What's there? 4 more years. He prepared. 2012. He came back. This time he was very, very careful. He ensured that everything went in his way. He lifted the weight. He performed. He got silver medal. But he was not satisfied. He knew he was capable of more. Everybody told, okay, good, medalist after 12 years of hard work. 8 years of hard work. Over, no. Retire, be happy. No. I will come back. 2016, 4 more years of hard work, 4 more years of blood, sweat, tears. He came back. He perspired. He did get gold. You can Google it. You can see in YouTube. The way he teared up in 2016, it literally gives you goosebumps. I can get goosebumps just by telling the story, right? So resilience is a huge part of life. If not for UPSC examination, it will definitely help you in life. This examination changes you as a person, right? It teaches you so many things. So just an interesting story, I thought, to break the boredom. Now getting to the boring part. Prelims. One more month left, right? Roughly. June 16 la. So I'll just tell you a few things. Like, I don't want to go very deep. Like, obviously, only one more month is left. I can't give very broad frameworks or very, things that you can't do within the month. Right now, what you can do is, okay, even before that, I'll tell you what I understand about prelims. I have told in many places. You might have seen my videos. If you know this already, fine. It is about recognition. It is different from recollection. As a psychology nerd, I know memory works in many ways. Two primary ways of memory is recognition versus recollection. Recognition, the answer is already in front of you. You just have to recognize. That's all. Recollection is where you actively produce content from your memory according to the demand of the question, right? Prelims is recognition. Mains is recollection. This is all nobody will tell you. Trademark. But it's an interesting thing that I found, and it changed my preparation process. How? I thought if my recognition in sense should be at the max, I should focus on revision a lot. I should focus on familiarization a lot. அதாவது நீங்க ரெக்கக்னைஸ் பண்ணனும்னா you should have that tip of the tongue feeling, right? Like if I ask you right now, who was your best friend in your 5th standard, who sat next to you in your 5th standard, you may not know him or her. But if the same person walks out the door right now, you will recognize them because they're already there. That familiarity feeling is there. So I worked on familiarization a lot during prelims. What do I mean by that? Especially during the last 1 month. For every subject, I had my own, data banks. Like for history, list of INC sessions. I had a map. List of socio and tribal movements. I had a map. List of books published. List of newspapers. All this is there in the spectrum. You will find it. That is not an issue. But I ensured that I had my own compilation for all this to maximize my recognition. You cannot fail your memory there. Your memory has to be at the max, right? Now, going as a side track, why you cannot fail in basic stuff? Prelims in GS, there are 100 questions, correct? In my understanding, if you're lucky, you may know 40 to 50 questions for sure, correct? This is how it happens. See, what we usually do is we keep taking mock tests from academies. They'll tell you the question comes from this, read this book, come here. You'll read that, you'll come here. You'll find that whatever questions are asked from the sources. So you'll get used to that sense of certainty in tests. But prelims is exactly ulta. It is a game of uncertainty. There is a sense of uncertainty which can be won only by playing with probabilities. Why I am emphasizing this? Again, let me tell you a story. There was a psychologist called Kahneman, Daniel Kahneman and Tversky. Kahneman has a famous book, Think Fast and Slow. Perhaps some of you know. So he worked a lot with cognitive biases like this. He found out that humans generally try to avoid uncertainty. We are not at all comfortable with uncertainty. We want everything for certain. Like there were experiments when they approached the subjects and told that, see, either you can win $1,000 for 100%. Like you can either win $1,000 for sure, or you can win $2,000 with a 50% probability, right? Which would you choose? They chose the 1,000 thing because it was 100% certain. Now they told In the first scenario, you will win $1,000 for sure. In the second scenario, you will win $1,000 50%, $2,000 50%. Which would you choose? Logically, yes, because I prepared you for it. But still, many of the people went with the certain option simply because it was certain. They didn't think that worst case scenario and the second option was $1,000 anyways, right? Generally speaking, we avoid this a lot. But the problem is prelims is here only. It's a game of uncertainty. Only 40 to 50 questions you'll know for sure. After that is all uncertain. That's where you will have to use many strategies. So how I approach prelims is my, taking the round one approach, round two approach. I first attempt all these questions they know for sure in the first round. Second round, perhaps 20 to 30 questions or 25 maybe. Third round around 5 to 10. So total I bring it to 85 plus. Right? This will be in the zone of 50-50. The success rate is, like the probability is 50% that you're getting the correct answer because you're eliminated two options, I assume. Here it is more or less informed guessing. You're not able to eliminate anything. Perhaps you have eliminated one. Here more or less the success rate is 25%. One of the four will be correct if you have guessed correctly. This is not in our hands. It's in the game of uncertainty. This is definitely in our hands. Because people keep telling prelims pattern is changing. Last year elimination itself was eliminated. It keeps evolving and all that. Regardless of what happens, the 10,000 I told, no, I think I raised. They are resilient. They don't get panicked when they see that this is a new strategy. I mean, new pattern of questioning. The options are new, like last prelims, right? They don't get panicked. They ensure that they get this part right. That's all they do. You have to have 100% success rate in this, or perhaps 90%. What I mean, like out of this, you cannot get many wrong answers. That's what I mean. You're understanding, no? What I'm trying to explain is, as you go through the rounds, the number of wrong answers will increase with greater probability. So this is the controllable part. Like we read in Stoicism, control the controllables. Control this. How to control this? Familiarize yourself with all the subjects before the examination. Make sense? I'm trying to connect it somehow, right? Again, polity. Last 1 month, what you can do? Revise all the tables. Like for polity, I had ready-made tables for all the constitutional authorities, legal authorities, non-constitutional, like president, tenure, how to remove, eligibility, blah, 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 whatever. Like the basic things, right? Again, for ancient and medieval history, I had since like many of us are by structure weak in Hindi, I had a special glossary for all the Hindi and Sanskrit terms because they keep asking that, right? What does this mean? What does that mean? So that I revised in the last minute. Of course, current affairs. This should be a major part during last month, especially the last 1 week. So last 1 month, assuming that your preparation till this point has been good, since that is past, I'm not commenting on it. What you can do with this 1 month, give as many mocks as possible. Daily give 1 mock. Like by default, by now you don't have only 1 month. I generally suggest 40 to 50 is a good amount of mock tests before you enter actual prelims. So now that you have only 1 month, try to give 1 mock per day, regardless of what you study, regardless of how much you are preparing. Either dedicate 9 to 12 for tests, 2 hours test, 1 hour for answer key, like that, or dedicate afternoon. I dedicate afternoons because that's when our mental level goes down. So then I try to get into that problem solving mode. So my mind is active again. I'll be playing with this zone of probabilities, 50%, 25%. And throughout this, I keep analyzing my success rate and error rate. In what subject my errors are high and why are my errors high? Like even within this errors also, there will be 2 types. One is the controllable errors. One is the uncontrollable error. What is the controllable error? You read the question too fast. Which of the following is not correct? I did this a lot. Then while rounding off, in the last minute panic, a lot of times it happened to my friends also. They skip a question. 77 against the round, they rounded off in 78. They won't realist for 10 questions. 78 and the 88 is 1 question down. You can't change there. It's gone. Such things try to avoid. To be in that zone, we have to practice it a lot. That's why I'm telling practice mock tests a lot, preferably with the OMR sheet right now. Because now I think a lot of things has been online. We keep clicking in the mouse thinking that we are attending tests, but the real game is different. So to practice it with the OMRs itself, that's what I did, so that you replicate the context as much as possible beforehand. Again, talking in psychology, there is something called context dependent memory. It says that the more similar the environments between when you store the information and when you recollect it, the process of recollection is better. So in fact, I sometimes go to extremes and switch off light, switch off fan also, because you perhaps are attending in a government school, perhaps it's cloudy that day, light will be low, your eyes will be straining. In CSET, it will be even worse. It will be in the afternoon. So you have to practice in those environments. There is a scientific logic behind practicing in such environment, right? So as many mock tests as possible, familiarize yourself, which means revision, understand your errors, and take a very scientific approach. You won't believe me, the prelims I cleared earlier, I was very, very comfortable about the cutoff. This prelims, I was 2 marks above cutoff. 1 or 2 wrong answers and I won't be standing in front of you. I knew this game and I played as much as possible and it worked out for me, right? I'm just trying to explain that there will be uncertainty in the examination. It's a built-in process. Don't get anxious about it, because I have done some mentoring also during my preparation process. A lot of people I talk to, they tell, sir, in the question, sir, which source do I attribute it to? How do I control the examination? Don't try to control the examination. Just experience it, but control the controllables. This you have to be sure. My lucky thing was that perhaps I was good in this, and perhaps the errors were a little more in this area this year. Perhaps that's why wrong answers kept getting my marks lower. But since my controllables was good, I was very strong in basic questions. It got me through the cutoff. You have to be in the top 10,000. That's all. I think I erased it. These 10,000 are not the most brightest. I mean, perhaps not the most brightest. They are definitely the brightest. Doesn't mean that those who fall out of the 10,000 are not brightest, but they are very good in understanding the nature of prelims. Kindly understand the nature of prelims. Right? Just ensure that you take a very objective approach. You understand there is an uncertainty. You understand there could be multiple errors. Analyze the types of errors. Analyze the subject-wise errors. Again, I understood that I got a lot of errors in art and culture, a lot of errors in ancient and medieval. So I took a little bit more tests in the subject. Again, while attempting the tests, if I am leaving out 15, I try to ensure that what I leave out is in ancient or art and culture, because historically my error rate is higher there. So whatever I am attempting, I ensure that my error rate is least, my success rate is highest, so that I am comfortably above cutoff. This is all prelims is about. I don't want to talk about which sources, what current affairs. Everybody is talking about that. You will find it in YouTube. You all know it. Why some people clear, why some people don't clear. Perhaps there's a little bit of luck also, obviously, but they say luck favors the brave. Being lucky is not under your control. Being brave is. That's what I understood. Through all this uncertainty, all this bad luck, good luck, shifting of luck, right? How much time am I talking? Give me 1 moment. Anybody feeling sleepy? No? Good. Because if somebody is feeling sleepy, I'm feeling. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to talk about. So again, to summarize it, for the last 1 month prelims, give as many tests as possible. If not full tests, give at least mini tests. Like since I was working, what I used to do is I'd be mentally drained by the time I come back. There won't be time to attend 2 hours tests and study the answer key for another 1.5 hours or so. I used to attempt 30 question tests or 50 question tests. but I just kept doing it, right? A lot of self-help books, if you read, that's what they essentially tell. Don't, regardless of what happens, just show up. Just show up and never give up. It's as simple as that. Don't evaluate yourself before and telling that time is not there. Perhaps full test attend பண்ண முடியாது. நாளைக்கு பார்த்துக்கலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு. Don't lose out on that. If you can attempt only 30 questions, just attempt it. Read the answer key for that. Correct yourself. Analyze all these errors, where you are going wrong, how we can improve, right? As many mock tests as possible, as much revision as possible. Don't read anything new. Mental health, very, very important. Stay in a very good mental space and get used to the uncertainty. That is the new thing, or perhaps others are telling it, I don't know. That is the main thing that I am suggesting. Get used to the uncertainty. Control the controllables. The controllable is basic preparation, simple questions. Like a lot of times, good candidates don't clear because they do errors in the first part. I was also there. My first prelims I didn't clear because I understood. Though my guessing part, the second round, third round, it was good. The first round itself, I got a lot of errors, which is controllable. President apati basic question, you cannot afford to do wrong. Our age limit and remove பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, if you do it wrong, then unfortunate. You cannot be even in the game. You cannot be in the top 10,000, right? So control the controllables. Revise as much as possible. Get used to the uncertainty. Recognition, intuition, like I said, understand that it is about recognition. You don't have to see. Now, இன்னொரு easy illustration சொல்றேன். A lot of time before prelims, we feel unconfident. We feel like we didn't read anything. Correct, no? Why? We'll try to recollect answers for a test that involves recognition. How it makes sense? We'll try to think 1940, that INC session happened in which state? We won't recollect. Now I don't recollect. Obviously, now I don't recollect anything. But if I give you 4 options, 90% of you will recollect. Because trust your memory. Your memory works in very many ways. நம்ம சும்மா படிக்கிறோம், recollect பண்றோம், recollect பண்ணலனா தப்பு. நம்ம ஏதோ தப்பா பண்றோம். It's not as simple as that. Right? The more you read, okay, of course, if I had talked about mains and interview, I would have talked about the habit of reading. But since I didn't cover, I'm not talking about it. But reading helps. Fortunately, I read psychology, so my preparation process involved the reading of all this. And since I understood it that way, I'm trying to ensure that I'm putting it across to as many people as possible through opportunities like this, so that you have a very different understanding of the examination. Right? The 2 prelims which I didn't clear was of course, the 5th prelims was, the 4th prelims I didn't clear because the 3rd time the thing had happened, the issue had happened. The first time I was not experienced. So I would say 4 out of 6 prelims with good experience, with all this understanding, is a good success rate. And clearing the examination thrice also, I feel I'm credible enough to give some inputs to you, right? So I hope I have done some justice over the last few minutes. If you have some questions over anything that I said, any difference of opinion, the democracy, you can debate. Any mains related, interview related question, you can ask me. Otherwise, I think I've covered what I wanted to cover. Right? Yeah. I can tell you a lot of stories. I like talking. I mean, I'm a bit of an introvert, but when I get in the zone, I keep going. Somehow, sometimes my college teachers used to, funnily tell that you are a good candidate for a teacher. You get across things very nicely and all that they used to tell. So perhaps I understand it better, and I like getting it across. That's all. So, like sir said, I didn't want to miss this opportunity. And right now, obviously, after you clear the exam, you will know many offers will keep coming to you. Some will involve monetary benefits, some will not involve that. With various intentions, they'll keep calling you. But you will know that people are calling for what? Big academies, big YouTube channels. It's easy to go there and talk, right? Everybody does that. But people from other parts of the state are also preparing, and few people have good intentions, perhaps like KAMARAJ sir. So I understood that and I wanted to come here. That's the thing. So, I mean, just stating the facts. Like I said, hindsight bias, I'm trying to avoid as much as possible. You see in YouTube reels, it's very easy, right? I studied 12 hours, I studied. I didn't go anywhere. That's why I cleared the examination. It works for them, but I personally believe after all this you have heard about me, it's very tough to have control over life. What you can do is keep coming back harder and harder. It's tough, but it's doable. Oscar Figueroa. Doable. So yeah, anything else you want to ask, you can ask in any language. All clear? I wanted to focus more on the understanding philosophy, motivation part of it. That's why I spent more time on that. Prelims part, I just focused on my approach. கோர்சஸ்லாம் சொல்லணுமா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் தானே எல்லாம் குவாலிட்டி லக்ஷ்மிகாந்த் ஆர்ட் அண்ட் டச் தெரிஞ்சுங்க எல்லா டாப்பர்ஸும் நான் சொல்ல போறாங்க இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் ஓவர்லோட் இஸ் எனிவே தேர் I don't want to add to the confusion but I think what I talked about perhaps many don't talk. So yeah, before I forget, my Telegram channel, you can find me on Telegram. You can search Bhuvanesh Ram 41. I uploaded my answer copies. I wrote a detailed blog like covering what I talked about prelims and mains interview and all my learnings journey and all. This is a good source. I have shared my YouTube interviews wherever I keep sharing. So if you are psychology optional, again, it will help a lot. That resources also I'm sharing here. Instagram, you can find me Bhuvanesh Ram. I think the ID is Bhuvan_Ram_. Twitter, it's _Bhuvan Ram. So that's it about me. The floor is yours. You can ask anything. Yes, definitely. How do you overcome overthinking? You have to recognize that you are overthinking. That's the first part. See, like I said, it's easy to get into that zone. It's easy to get into the guilt tripping part of it. You overthink. Perhaps you go to one movie. There also you'll be thinking others are preparing, others are giving covering Vision PT 365. Why am I giving a movie? To that level of overthinking, it's easy to go. It's tough to fight back. That's what I'm telling you. Perhaps overthinking everybody does. Those who don't overthink are not avoiding it. They are fighting it back. There's a difference. To fight it back, you have to first recognize it. Then you have to understand that mental health is a very big part of it. If just ensure, perhaps if overthinking puts you in a good mental space, you can overthink. I don't know. I don't know. Really, I don't know. For me, hobbies was the thing that put me in a good mental health space. So that's why I was stressing hobbies. Wherever I go, I keep talking about hobbies. They'll be thinking, why this idiot is talking about hobbies? We want to talk about mains answer writing strategy and all that. I can talk about it. It's not an issue. Constraint of time, and since many of you are going for prelims, I didn't talk about it. If you have questions on any aspect, I can talk about it. But yeah, you have to recognize it. Assess if you're in a mentally good space. Are you in a mentally good space because you're overthinking? I hope not. Right? No? Then it's easy, right? What puts you in a mentally good space? Because, see, there is so much stigma to mental health. Nowadays, counseling is available online. Like, this year, the second rank, I think he lost his mother at an early age and all. He keeps talking that he went to therapy, he went to counseling. To that level, people are prioritizing mental health and coming to the examination. இப்போ நம்ம ஊர்ல தமிழ்நாட்டுலலாம் சைக்காலஜிஸ்டா அப்படின்னா அவங்க வந்து கீழ்பாக்க அப்படின்னு தான் சொல்லுவாங்க. இன்னும் அப்படிதான் இருக்கு. It's the reality. Though I read psychology, the sad part is that there is so much stigma, right? But I'm trying to normalize it. That's why வார்த்தைக்கு வார்த்தை mental health ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன். So assess yourself. You need that kind of a support. Go for it. If not, what helps you be in a good mental health space? No, right? So hobbies work for me. There are so many things that can help you, right? Again, I can keep talking. There's one good framework. If it helps you, perhaps it will be nice. Try to have 3 wins every day. Physical, mental, spiritual. If you have these 3 wins, 90% you will be in a good mental health space. Mental, of course, is taken care by preparation. That's pretty much obvious, which takes up most of your time also. Completely understandable. 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, whatever it is. I'm not prescribing any daily hours also. Again, very subjective. But this part we forget. எங்க போனாலும் இந்த 3 ஏன் சொல்றாங்க? Because there have been crores of people who have lived before us for thousands of years. In all their wisdom, they understood that these 3 things are perhaps important for us. Makes some sense, right? That's why I included running, blogging, cinema is somewhat all for me. I'm not even kidding. Spiritual na amman padam paapan solla varala. I think a lot about issues when I see cinema. It helps you put in a different zone, right? Spiritual again it's not in the conventional sense and meaning. There should be a higher sense for you. Like perhaps volunteerism is spiritual. No, because volunteerism helped me connect with a central trait that was driving all my pursuits. You feel connected to something higher. Correct? Civil services we are taking to be in connect with this. There is no bigger satisfaction than to be in connect with this. அதுதான் எல்லாரும் சொல்றாங்க ஐஏஎஸ் ஆனா மக்களுக்கு சேவை செய்வோம் நல்ல சாட்டிஸ்பாக்சனா இருக்கு எல்லாம் உள்ள வரோம்ட்டு லைக் ஐ எம் ட்ரைங் டு புட் இட் இன் அ வெரி ஃபேன்சி டெக்னிக்கல் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் அ திங் பட் தட்ஸ் த ரியாலிட்டி. அதனாலதான் ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் ப்ராசஸ்லயும் இதை ஃபர்கெட் பண்ணாதீங்கன்னு நான் சொல்றேன். பிகாஸ் தட் இஸ் த ரீசார்ஜிங் ஃபேக்டர். யூஆர் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ரைட்? Perhaps you are overthinking because you get lost in the UPSC process. You get lost in books. You get lost in tests, marks, books, guidance, mentoring. இதுக்குள்ளே வாழ்க்கை சுத்திட்டு இருக்கோம். Of course, it is important. I'm saying start with your why. There's a book, Start with Why, by Simon Sinek. You can read. Very good book. Again, if you start with your why, you will know who you are. I knew who I was. Perhaps that helped me to pursue things which are all in connect with this. Why this was central, again, that goes to my flashback. I don't want to bore you with that, but I studied in a group of schools. சொல்ல மாட்டேன்னு சொல்றியா அப்படிங்கிறீங்களா? The Satisai group of schools, there's a heavy emphasis on value education. Like my father is actively in nodal community service. You all have your own story. Something would have triggered you for UPSC, right? It should not be one day you saw on YouTube, IAS officer, nice reel you saw, you started to come to academy. But you'll come in the amateur category. Pro versus amateur nu sonna illaya. Pros, they'll know what it is driving the examination. They are very resilient. Like sir was telling, faith and patience. When we were talking, he was emphasizing that. Pretty much similar. Did I answer or did I confuse you more? Any other questions? Yeah.
கன்சிஸ்டன்சியா வந்து கன்வியூ பண்ண முடியும். படிக்கும்போது கொஞ்சம் கன்சிஸ்டன்சியா இருக்கு.
ஏன் கன்சிஸ்டன்டா இல்லைன்னு கேட்டு பாத்தீங்களா?
அப்பதான் ஓவர் திங்கிங்.
ஓவர் திங்கிங். கரெக்ட். நீங்களும் அவர் கட்சியா? ஓகே, ஓவர் திங்கிங் இஸ் ஃபைன். அகைன் ஐ எக்ஸ்பிளைன் நோ தட் amateur versus pro. If you are depending on motivation for preparation, you won't be consistent. I'm telling you. நான் கொஞ்சம் பேசிட்டு போயிடுவேன் நான் பாட்டுக்கு. ஒரு மணி நேரம் பா ஏதோ மனுஷன் சொன்னாரு கொஞ்சமாவது நல்லா இருந்ததுன்ட்டு. அப்புறம் நம்ம போய் ரீல்ஸ் பார்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சோன்னா நோ யூஸ். அப்கோர்ஸ் டூ வாட்ச் ரீல்ஸ். அகைன் mental health angle, you have to be happy. I am not stigmatizing anything. If you want to be in social media, all good, but you have to have the wisdom to regulate yourself. See, when you reach a level when you can switch on and switch off your preparation and your other pursuits, nothing like it. Can you go to a movie, come back home, switch off and directly get into study mode? Can you go to a trip, come back, directly switch off and get into study mode? Can you study for some time, switch off and go to a movie? Works both ways. You can't go to a movie and keep thinking about examination. Then why are you going to movie in the first place? Correct? No. Oh, sorry, you were asking the question, right? I was saying there. So, yeah, don't depend on motivation. Regardless of how you feel, you have to be consistent. The how to be consistent, I really don't know the answer. It's you have to be. There is no other way. அதான் சொல்றேன்ல, why are you not being consistent? Are you feeling bored? Are you feeling tired? So then address that. No. For bored na, you can have hobbies which helps you preparation. Tired na, take a break, prioritize your mental health, come back to preparation. Have the switch. இது ரொம்ப முக்கியம். ஸ்விட்ச் இல்ல அப்படின்னா முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. சார் சொன்னாரு ட்ரிப்புக்கு போகணும்பா அப்படின்னு ட்ரிப்புக்கு போயிட்டு வந்துட்டு ஒரு மாசம் கழிச்சு அப்ப நான் படிக்க வந்துட்டேன் அப்படின்னா ஒண்ணும் பண்ண முடியாது. ஏன் கன்சிஸ்டன்டா இல்லைன்னு யோசிங்க. கன்சிஸ்டன்டா எப்படி இருக்கணுங்கிறது the answer lies there. There will be so many reasons why you are not consistent. I was also not consistent in many ways. See, again, understand the power of compounding. Don't expect 100% every day. Right? Even if you improve like 0.01% every day, for 1 year if you compound, this number is some crazy number. I don't even remember. I read somewhere. Slowly improve பண்ணாலே போதும். You keep compounding over the time. Of course, not all days will be your best days. Some days you'll have a break. But if you're more or less like 80% consistent is a good number. According to me, it's a very good number. But you have to be consistent. See, what usually happens is we aim for 100%, we get dissatisfied. That dissatisfaction will again impact our consistency. We are not consistent. We are not consistent. அதை பத்தி யோசிக்கிறது விட்டால கன்சிஸ்டன்டா தான் இருக்கும். That's my answer. Doesn't make sense? Correct la?
Sir, online கேக்குதா?
Same thing. Nothing changes. Anything else? No. See, for 2025, it's a different talk, obviously. Now I spoke only about prelims. But like, ensure newspaper reading is a habit from now on. If you don't have it as a habit, ensure it that you habituate to newspaper reading. Sorry. One more thing is, imagine yourself as a civil servant. Get familiarized yourself with the syllabus. Even before you lay your hands on Lakshmikant or NCRTs, sit with the syllabus. Like I used to have, I used to take printout of syllabus and stick it in front of my wall, because we don't realize the importance of syllabus. It literally lays the foundation of this examination. Of course, prelims la illa, I understand. Prelims is an unpredictable game. But as you go up, mains is more or less, you can trace back to syllabus. So at this level, if you're aiming for 2025, consistent newspaper reading, get familiarized yourself with the syllabus, and imagine yourself as a civil servant. Imagining, I'm not meaning in a motivation sense, which helps, of course. But when you imagine yourself, you will know what to consume. When you read a newspaper, you perhaps won't focus on, news on political, sensational news. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Embody the vision. Of course, with not too much attachment. That counterintuitive purpose, thinking also is there. If it helps you, I don't want to discourage. There are many perspectives and I've tried it all. And, not being attached that much helped me. Perhaps earlier you can be attached very much. Slowly. Yeah, obviously. Exactly. Perfect. That's what I'm trying to tell all this along. We chose the exam because something drove us to the exam, no? So remember why you started. If you remember that, you will definitely avoid overthinking. You'll be in a good mental health space. You will pursue things that will contribute to your core value, which hopefully will also contribute to UPS examination, which I just explained. Yeah. It's a symbiotic, mutually beneficial approach. So yeah, mentally you prepare. Syllabus wise, books wise, you are anyways going to prepare. That is fine. You can start slowly. But I would just suggest be consistent with newspaper reading. Understand the nature of the syllabus. Go through the previous year question papers. What kind of questions they're asking, and the mental, philosophical mindset that needs both for the preparation angle also, the values, resilience, mental health, and all that, and in the long term as a bureaucrat, public service as a core value. All these angles. Anything else? கரெக்ட். நானும் ஒரு பாயிண்ட்ல அப்படிதான் இருந்தேன் ப்ரோ. ஏன்னா the financial dependence was taking a toll on my health. நான் சொல்லுங்க. சரி. ஓகே. ஆல்டர்னேட்டிவ் எக்ஸாம்ஸ் நீங்க எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் பண்ணலாம், ரைட்? See, for me, since I wanted financial independence, I chose NABARD because, of course, sister's marriage was coming. I wanted to contribute. Plus, எனக்கு அந்த financial independence கொஞ்சம் mental health பாசிட்டிவா வைக்க ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுச்சு. உங்களுக்கு பிளான் பி இருக்கா அப்போதைக்கு? Did you think not having a plan B is making you anxious and making you? Perhaps having a plan B will put you in a better position financially. I'm just trying to give an option for you. Plan B na exam mattum sollala. You can perhaps take a position here as a teacher if you're interested, if you're experienced enough. So there are many ways to உங்களுக்கு மணி earn பண்றது ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸா, அது இல்லாம எப்படி ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்றது? அதுதான் சொல்றோம், வாலண்டியரிசம் கரெக்ட். நீங்க வாலண்டியரிசம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டட், அதுல வேற இடத்துக்கு போற அளவுக்கு எனக்கு வசதி இல்லைங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்றீங்க. கரெக்டா? ஆன்லைன் வாலண்டியரிசம் நிறைய இருக்குங்க. ivolunteer.com ஒரு வெப்சைட் இருக்கு. சும்மா I'm just giving an example. You go to that and see. There are so many things that you can do sitting right from your home. இங்க இருந்தே நீங்க பீகார்ல இருக்க ஒரு 8ஆம் கிளாஸ் குழந்தைக்கு இங்கிலீஷ் கத்து கொடுக்கலாம், மேத்தமெட்டிக்ஸ் கத்து கொடுக்கலாம். சோஷியல் மீடியா ஏஜ்ங்க, ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் ஆர் பிளென்டி. இஃப் யூ ஜஸ்ட் கூகுள் இட் யூ வில் கம் டு நோ. மணி அஃப்கோர்ஸ் இஸ் கன்ஸ்ட்ரெயின்ட், ஐ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். நானுமே ஒரு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஜெனரேஷன் கிராஜுவேட், ஸோ ஐ கம்ப்ளீட்லி அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். பட் தேர் ஆர் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு டூ இட். ஆன்லைன்லேயே பண்ணலாம். ivolunteer.com இஸ் ஒன் குட் திங். ஜஸ்ட் உள்ள போய் பாருங்க. தமிழ்நாட்டிலேயும் சரி, நார்த் இந்தியாலையும் சரி, எஜுகேஷன் செக்டர் வைஸ் யூ கேன் செப்பரேட் அண்ட் யூ கேன் கான்ட்ரிபியூட். ஸோ யூ கேன் டெஃபினெட்லி டூ இட். Right. See, like I said, I don't think that way, because I've come to this understanding that there is not much control in our life. That I don't know if this may sound blasphemous to some, this may sound very depressing to some. My personal opinion is, right now I have a micro target. I don't have a grand target. My micro target is to upskill myself in certain areas that I have in mind over the next 2 years during the course of training, because I have this somewhat of an regret that I didn't do PG. Still now I'm an undergraduate. I could have applied in IGNO during the course of preparation, but I didn't see any point to it, because it would just be a degree just for the sake of it. I wanted to do a degree in the field that I'm working. Perhaps I would have done, if I would have been in NABARD, something in development finance I would have done, I had in mind. Since now I'm getting this result, I'm planning to upskill myself in some certain areas and get familiarized. Grand areas, grand projects. Like I have some things in mind, but like I don't want to boast about it. I don't even have the full confidence to tell about it, frankly. I'm just like an aspirant like you, like few months back. So my level of understanding is pretty much basic. But coming to sectors, education sector is something I'd like to work on. Given that I already did some projects in financial education and all, I'd like to contribute there. ஐந்தில் வளையாதது ஐம்பதில் வளையாதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க.
What is the hardest part during the journey from
Hardest part during the journey to get through. First time I was talking about that only. Now for me, like I said, it was mental. I'm a thinker. I read about thinking. For me, the mental health part was the biggest challenge. Yeah. So all that I said was from my learning, and is the camera? Yeah. All that I said was from my learning, and I try to implement various strategies to put myself in a good headspace, even when things that are outside your control don't go your way. Regardless of what happens, trust the process. That's that kind of thinking I try to implement. You can take various approaches to get yourself going. Having a plan B, like I was discussing, helps for some people. It gives you the confidence. Pursuing your hobbies, having 3 wins every day. There are so many theories, I don't want to bore you, but there are so many ways that you can keep yourself going. If you can't keep yourself going, understand what is it that is stopping you from keeping yourself going. Is it too much of an exertion for you? Are you worried about your financial status? Are you worried, like if you're a girl, obviously the problems are more. Are you worried about family pressure for marriage or whatever? So you will have to sort that out first. Perhaps studying in a hostel helps you if that's the case. So do a root cause analysis. Like I cannot give broad-based solutions like a general YouTube video telling this is what I did, so I got through this. Life is not simple. I'm trying to avoid hindsight bias as much as possible. So, I mean, if you're not somewhere, what is your problem? You have to understand. Do a root cause analysis. Identify the things that is preventing you from being consistent. Like I said, no, first cost-benefit analysis. The first few words I wrote in board. You have to do a cost-benefit analysis to continue the preparation, for not having plan B, for not being consistent. So when you do that, you will know the actual reasons and can address them. Like some things that I told, hobbies and all that. It's some of the ways that I approach things to be consistent. What I did. Right. I didn't watch a lot of toppers interviews, so perhaps some people do that. இப்போ நான் சொன்னதுலேயே உங்களுக்கு நிறைய விஷயம் வந்து உங்களுக்கு ரிலேட் ஆயிருக்கலாம். ஸோ இந்த விஷயம் நம்ம கரெக்டாக பண்றோம் சொல்றதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொல்லிருக்கலாம். வாட்சிங் டாப்பர்ஸ் இன்டர்வியூஸ் இஸ் ஒன் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி. ஃபார் ஆன்சர் ரைட்டிங் எக்ஸாம் பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ்ல சொல்றேன். அகைன் டாப்பர்ஸ் காப்பீஸ் இஸ் ஒன் மோர் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி. திஸ் டைம் லைக் டு பி ஈவன் மோர் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக், the major reason for a good rank this time was my optional. I tried to get it from a very good zone to excellent zone. My marks were very good, which is why I'm clearing the exam already. So I have to better that process, right? Like Usain Bolt says, running 100 meters in 13 seconds is easy. Getting it down to 12:10 is also easy. The 10 to 9 second is the hardest part. So the last mile will be the hardest part for you. So keep referring your answers, mains answers, with the toppers answers copies. So there it will help you in self-evaluation. One. Second, like go through the syllabus, obviously. If you're going wrong in newspaper reading, going through the syllabus will understand what things you are reading unnecessarily, what things you are reading correctly, right? So again, you have to be specific in what aspect you are asking. If it's for mains, I'll give a different answer. If it's for, yeah. எப்படி ஃபேஸ் பண்றதுன்னா, like you have to be aware that it's going to be uncertain. Predict the unpredictability. If you know that it is going to be uncertain, you are already ready for it, right? Does it make sense? சொல்லுங்க. கரெக்ட். ப்ரீவியஸ் இயர் கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் நீங்க போட்டு அதுல இருக்க கொஸ்டின் ரிப்பீட் ஆகும் நீங்க எதிர்பார்க்க கூடாது. You can do trend analysis from previous year question papers. See, you have to be very careful. What you can understand is which are the areas from where the maximum question is coming. Obviously, polity, environment, economy, these are things from where maximum question is coming. Even that is subjective, according to me. For all you know, UPSC may change this year. They may ask more questions from art and culture, which has happened in previous years. Previous year question papers helps you, one, to identify the broad trend from where the questions are coming. Two, the kind of questions they ask, the kind of options that they ask, which helps you to answer similar kind of questions, right? See, when you see the previous year question papers, you will know that a lot of questions are not traceable to any source, which is where the uncertainty comes from. So you are actually knowing about the uncertainty by looking at the previous year question papers. Make sense? Right. I'll give you one example. Yesterday I was explaining to somebody, like there are so many techniques that they tell, right, to handle this uncertainty. I was talking about the 3 rounds. The third round is primarily where the uncertainty is the most. You're doing informed guessing. Elimination பண்ணலாம், informed guessing பண்ணலாம், extrapolation பண்ணலாம். How to do informed guessing? I was giving the example, so simply I'm just telling you to deal that uncertainty. Suppose the question is, like if somebody knows the answer, please don't answer. I'm trying to explain. 10 principles under G20 is related to which of the following? It was something that was agreed upon during our last G20 presidency. 1, MSMEs, integration of MSMEs into global value chain. 2, human rights. 3, blue economy. 4, culture. Now you have to choose from this. One way of thinking at it to do informed guessing is, see, when they did multiple meetings under G20, they conducted in cities which had some rational nexus to the topic of the meeting, right? So I was trying to explain that For Chennai, how I would have thought is that, of course, human rights, they got to conduct it anywhere. It's not specific to any place. Culture, good possibility is there. A lot of people call cultural capital as Chennai. MSMEs, again, I didn't see a lot of relationship with Chennai, though the number of MSMEs is somewhat highest in Tamil Nadu. It's not clustered around Chennai. Nothing specific. Blue economy, there is a good chance why it can be in Chennai. How? Not because it's in coastal city. There is another reason. There is NIOT, which is in Chennai. It's under ICAR. Sorry, CSE, National Institute of Ocean Technology. It's a prime institute which is in Chennai, which you will know if you are reading current affairs properly, if you are following PIB properly. It's a premier government institute. You don't know what this question is. You didn't read about it. You know the background answer. Now tell me an informed guess. Take a guess. UPSC இல்லங்க சும்மா சொல்லுங்க. Take a guess. Just take a guess. From based on what I told. Anybody wants to take a guess? That's the right answer. Blue economy is the right answer. Now I'm not telling this kind of thinking will work 100%. Again, prelims is a zone of probabilities. But trust me, more often than not, this will work. Your answer rate will be reduced by taking all this approach. This is how you deal with uncertainty. We think a lot of things that we read is not directly applicable to prelims, right? You may not have read about Chennai principles, but you would have read about NIOT somewhere. You would have read about Ministry of Earth and Sciences somewhere. You would have come across this. Some vision, current affairs, somewhere you would have come across. You have to use all the resources at your disposal. Slumdog Millionaire la vara mari. Yes, this is what I call extrapolation. You have to infer from what you already know to take an informed guess, which more often than not, perhaps 70% will give you the right answer. இப்போ நான் வேற மாதிரி சொல்லியிருக்கலாம், கல்ச்சர்னு சொல்லி உங்களுக்கு இந்த ஆன்சர் சொல்ல வச்சிருக்கலாம். But I purposely showed that there are ways to deal with uncertainty, and using all your disposals to infer the answer is one such. Make sense? Usually, typically, it can be less also. Somebody asked the same in online also. 20 to 30. நான் வந்து உங்களோட பர்சனல் இது சொல்ல வரல. ஆப்வியஸ்லி அப்ஜெக்டிவ்லி ஸ்பீக்கிங் டைரக்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் என்ன நமக்கு தெரிய வரும்ல. நீங்க உட்காந்து பாத்தீங்கனாலே சப்போஸ் 35 எடுத்துப்போமே, இவ்வளவுதான் டைரக்டா புக்ல இருந்து படிச்சு ஆன்சர் பண்ண முடியும். பெர்ஹாப்ஸ் மோர் ஆஃப் இஸ் ஃப்ரம் பாலிட்டி, எக்கனாமி, அதுல தான் பேசிக்கா தான் கேட்பாங்க. ரெப்போ ரேட்டு, பிரசிடென்ட், ஃபெடரலிசம், இந்த மாதிரி தான் கேட்பாங்க. This 35 everybody will get it, no matter what the number of question is. If this is down, all the 10,000 who are clearing, only this is certain for them. Accordingly, cutoffs will come down. This year cutoff எவ்வளோ? இதுதான் நம்ம கண்ட்ரோல்ல இருக்கு. இது எத்தனைங்கிறத நம்ம கண்ட்ரோல்ல இல்லை. What comes, be definitely sure to get it correct. Make sense? Regardless of what comes. ஒரு வாரியர் மாதிரி உள்ள போங்க. This part you have to be thorough, and for this you have to put the hard work. எப்படி uncertain தானே, வாழ்க்கையில ஒண்ணுமே இல்லைன்னு ஜாலியா போக கூடாது. This needs hard work. Mock tests, 50 mock tests, constant revision, constant familiarization, constant recollection, current affairs last 1 week, PT 365, whatever helps you. Monthly compilation is a tough call. It may help, like this NIOT case, it may help. It may not help also. How to decide? Cost benefit analysis. Time இருக்கா உங்களுக்கு 12 மாசம் கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ் படிக்கிறதுக்கு? படிங்க. டைம் இல்லையா விடுங்க, PT 365 பாருங்க. அதுக்கும் டைம் இல்லையா, பர்சனல் கம்பைலேஷன், நியூஸ் பேப்பர் ரெகுலரா படிச்சு நோட் பண்ணி வச்சிருப்பீங்க. இஃப் யூ ஆர் டன் இட் கரெக்ட்லி, அதுவும் இல்லையா ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது, அப்படியே போங்க. Or watch some YouTube compilations which all academies give, last minute current affairs, polity compilation and all that. If you are lucky, question will come from there. If you are not, don't depend on luck. Control the controllables. 10,000 நம்ம இருக்கணும், அப்படி போங்க. If you have that FOMO, no fear of missing out, uncertain, எப்படி வரும்னு தெரியாது, எதுல இருந்து கேள்வி கேட்பாங்கன்னு தெரியாது, கட் ஆஃப் எப்படி வரும்னு தெரியாது. Not in our hands. See, I actually didn't refer previous year question papers that much because I'll think that polity la nariya irukku, I'll study polity more, and the man I யோசிச்சிரேன்ட்டு actually didn't refer that much. Just for an idea I referred, but you have to give all subjects equal importance. That's what I'm telling. Though you may think that questions from polity or economy is more, which is true also sometimes, but don't use that to decide your level of dedication to some subjects and lessen it to some other subjects. Give all subjects equal importance. Anything else?
Long time, I think.
Ah.
Going for a marathon.
Sir, I lost the sense of time.
Okay. You see, that's very good. Okay, right? I was watching. So I said, I always used to say, instant means to be used to problem. Right? So the meat, so the end. That's a bit interesting. Say, it's a process. Right? So that the higher end is what? It's to the public. Okay, right? So it starts. So from the instant we are born. Okay. So there are two behaviors in psychology which is like, okay. The one behavior is about ourselves. So selfish or altruistic behavior, right? The altruism which is present in us, the leaders. As in the motivation drama. Consistency is all about connectedness. How connected you are from others. So that makes the that gives you the consistency. Right? So of course, for the end retirement it's clear, but still he is falling out and we speaking by the heart, from the heart, not by the heart, from the heart, right? Arrivate from the base, right? So he speaks the truth. So he speaks the truth, right? Basically, you are truthful to your profession. Whatever you do, right? You service for them, right? And money is not a matter, right? I think, okay, right? I can tell you umpteen number of success stories, right? மயக்கம் போட்டு கொடுத்துருவாங்க பத்தியில அவன் இன்னைக்கு வந்து ஜாயிண்ட் கமிஷனர்ஸா இருக்காங்க ஸோ தட்ஸ் அ சேலஞ்ச் அதானே சொல்றோம் சேலஞ்ச் ஓவர் கம் பண்றதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரைட் ஸோ அஃப்கோர்ஸ் ஹி கம்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் அ வெரி ஹம்பிள் பேக்ரவுண்ட் எல்லாரும் வீட்டுல மாதிரி அப்பா அம்மா ரைட் ஸ்கூலுக்கு அனுப்பிச்சாங்க படிக்க வச்சாங்க அண்ட் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் ஹி ஸ்டாண்ட்ஸ் ஹியர் ரைட் ஐ வாண்ட் அடுத்த வருஷம் வாங்க இங்க வந்து நீங்க சொல்லுங்க ரைட் that's what the thing is. That's why that's the motivation here. Okay.
And even if you don't stand here, you can succeed.
Yes.
That's another thing I'm telling you. No one will tell you that.
So that is it. Okay, right? I hope you all enjoyed, right? ரொம்ப அமைதியா இருந்தீங்க ரைட் ஒரு ஆசிரியர் இல்ல பார்த்தேன் ஸோ give him a good big hand, right? So I do not know whether our talk here can வாங்கினாரா தெரியாது, but on behalf of Kamaraj Academy, right? So I want to, right? So self-study activism. இது வந்து it will motivate him to go further. Okay. Yes.
Sir.
So thank you, Bhuvanesh. அதாவது ரொம்ப டைம் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் ஹஸ் given a lot of time 3 மணிக்கு ட்ரெயின் வருது he is leaving, right? So despite his busy schedule he is here. So இதான் the civil service சொல்லிட்டீங்களா, right? When you intend to serve, everything sets in place. அவ்வளவுதான். Okay, right? So thank you, Bhuvanesh. Thanks for coming. Right? Okay. அவர் ரிசோர்ஸ்லாம் ஷேர் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு previous pageல. Okay.
Yeah. So in Telegram, Instagram, you can get in touch with me also. Depending on my time, get back. Get back. So yeah, best wishes, UPSC, and with your field with you.
Thank you. அதான் கொடுக்குற மாதிரி கொடுத்துட்டு so it will be there. Full up. Yeah, thank you. So once again, thank you. I feel okay. Right time la kondu ஒரு 1 month க்கு முன்னாடி I brought him, right? So புதுசா ஏதாவது சொன்னாரா அவரு நம்ம கிளாஸ் சொல்லாத விஷயம் ஏதாவது சொன்னாரா புதுசாவே சொன்னாரு பழசா எதுவும் சொல்லல இப்படி கிளாஸ்க்கு ஒழுங்கா வர்றது அர்த்தம். So I can find it that you haven't come to the class regularly. That is it. Okay, right? Say that's the one thing. Say and the dedication, the confidence, and other things. So he struggled. 2019, he started the preparation. 2018, he started the preparation. He cleared 2019 because of the OBC issue. So his father is working in a PSU. That means, right? So that there will be a problem. If a government servant, they are below or above even 8 lakhs, that doesn't matter. It's about the Group A category, Group B category, Group C category. But when you work in PSU and private, that's going to be a problem. Still, the government is yet to clarify about it. So therefore, because of this OBC issue, right? So he was out. So 2019 he cleared, right? Again in 21 he cleared, right? And this year, so irrespective of all the issues, he decided to come in open competition. And of course, he achieved. Okay, சொன்னார்ல betterment. ஒவ்வொரு நாளையோடையும் betterment, right? So give your best. So each and every day, be a better version of yourself. That's why you are here. So that means, right, sir, your incremental change in your knowledge and personality will do. Overnight, Obama ஆக முடியாதுதான். But incremental change will definitely make the difference. I can see the test results. பார்க்குறேன், right? அதாவது மைனஸ் மார்க் வாங்குறவங்க 10 மார்க் வாங்கியிருக்காங்க, 10 20 ஆயிருக்குது, 20 30 ஆயிருக்கு. So that's a change. Okay, right? So that means that, right? Say destiny எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஒண்ணுதான். இதான் சொல்லிட்டோம். ஆனா ஜேர்னி எப்படி எடுக்க போறோம்? So that depends on us, right? So be confident. கான்ஃபிடன்ஸுக்கு அதுக்கு தேவை என்ன? மோட்டிவேஷன். மோட்டிவேஷன் தேவை என்ன? பர்பஸ். அது மட்டும் பர்பஸ். Why you are here? அது ஞாபகம் வச்சு. That's the topic. Okay, right? So thank you. All the best. நான் திருப்பி I will come. So இந்த வாரம் 2 quality இது போட்டிருக்கேன். And again I will come for you people. Okay, right? And for the newcomers, tomorrow the regular things start. Okay. And online, if you have any doubts, you can kindly contact the admin. They will come with any answers for your queries. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. படிங்க, டைம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ணாதீங்க.